Good morning, y'all. It's camper video time. Today is an important day. Today is October 15th, which means that for some of you who don't know, it is my wife's birthday. It's an important day to me. It's an important day to her. I think it's important to recognize her. That's why I didn't get her a present. Well, actually, that's not why I didn't get her a present, but whatever. So you guys heard me talk about her before. A bunch of you know her. My wife's pretty cool, you know? She saved me from a life of involuntary celibacy. And apparently she's also good at drafting a fantasy football team. So for those of you who missed the draft because you were too busy treating your yeast infections, you also missed the fact that my wife drafted Sean's team. Because Sean is one of the 6 losers that couldn't make the draft, which just, don't get me started. I'm sorry. Anyway, Sean's one of the guys that missed the draft, and Lauren picked his team for him. And through week 5, that team was undefeated, thanks in no small part to my wife. Sean was actually up here last week, and he basically refused to give her credit, which is not cool, but that's all right. So apparently, my wife is good at fantasy football. Like some of you might argue, well, yeah, but she had season tickets to the Bengals for like forever. I understand. Some of the other people might argue against that, saying, well, she also hasn't watched an NFL game since they started crapping all over the national anthem. And I'll tell you the one thing that I got out of that whole debacle, apparently Colin Kaepernick's black. I had no idea. You know? I remember watching coverage that night, and they were explaining the fact that he was kneeling, and he was giving his reasons for it and whatever. And the whole time I was just looking at him, and I was thinking to myself, like, he's black? Who knew? So women in my family apparently are good at fantasy football. Like I said, Lauren drafted Sean's team. They were kicking butt until week 6 when he got just shellacked by Bigfoot's cousin, Chris. But before that, he was undefeated and was like the top scoring team, so he was rocking it. And my sister-in-law picks my brother's team lineup every week. You guys remember when he won a few years ago? Don't let him fool you into thinking that he did that on his own, because he didn't. Oh, well, Alyssa picked those picks like every week. So I wonder if God, when he like created man and woman, you know, he's like, oh, day 6, I need friends. I'm going to create man. He looks bored and lonely. I'm going to create woman. You sinned. You helped her. All right? Here's the deal. You're going to have horrible pains, and you're going to have to push out an 8-pound alien out of one of your orifices. Let's see, what else? 1 week every month, you're going to bleed profusely out of that same orifice. Don't ask me why. It's because I said so. Because you messed up. I told you not to eat that fruit. All right? What else? Ooh, you're going to look at that and be like, yeah, that looks good to me. I want some of that. Some of that hairy, smelly body over there. That's what I'm going to have on top of me to make babies. Just, ugh. Well, whatever. It's your fault. You messed up. But then apparently God was also like, you know what? I'll give you a break. I'm going to make you good at fantasy football too. No one's going to be able to understand it. You're not going to watch an NFL game for several years at a time, but you're going to know how to pick a team instead of lineup. It's going to frustrate the hell out of these guys. Just watch it. Anyway, happy birthday to my wife. I love you. You married a part-time security guard living in your parents' basement. You only thought it could go up from there. Well, sorry. I was going to start this note off by saying something like, hey, good morning, it's camper video time, your favorite time of the week. But apparently it's not your favorite time of the week. Because I found out this week that some of you guys still haven't even watched any of these videos yet, which just pisses me off. It just makes me feel really good about myself. I just want you to know that you're horrible human beings, and you should probably choke on your own feces. That would be fair. That would kind of make it up. I would feel better about it all. So one of these horrible human beings is Josh. Just for example, I would call you all out, but then you guys would get mad at me for making a long video, and I don't feel like dealing with that because you're a bunch of crybabies. So Josh is one of these horrible human beings, which we can all agree on. If any of you have ever spent time with him, you get that, right? I think we all agree Josh is about like as useful as the G in lasagna or non-alcoholic beer. Just serves no purpose in life whatsoever except to annoy people. That's Josh. For you wastes of spaces that weren't at the draft, you guys really missed out on the show. You should have seen Josh. It's like watching a blind man run a slalom course. Like he picked McCaffrey in the first round. We had him convinced, absolutely, that McCaffrey was a holdout. And we just kept going and kept reminding him. He was really upset until finally the 8th round mark, which you could just see it like the whole time. You just see it like building up inside of him. He's just like, I can't take it anymore. You're so fucking stupid. McCaffrey's not a holdout. And he ruined the fun for all of us. But yeah, for 8 rounds, Josh thought his first round pick was a holdout. Smart guy. So Josh is one of the guys that told me he didn't watch my videos this week, or any week so far, which is not cool. But Josh apparently has won a fantasy football league at some point. I know this because he sent me the picture of him holding the championship belt for that league several times, completely unprompted usually. And I can only assume that because he's won this league, apparently, that it's either fake or made up of quadriplegic 7-year-old tennis players that are computer illiterate. I don't know how else he could ever win a league, because he sucks. But Josh told me he didn't watch this video. I told him he sucks, and usually his response is to send me this picture. So I equate him to kind of like a stink bug. So stink bug emits an odorous liquid. And that's like its defense. Like if it feels threatened or it's getting attacked or something, it's like, bam, liquid. So if you haven't smelled that liquid before, I have. And it smells like cilantro. So that's the bug's defense, cilantro. And apparently that's supposed to help keep it safe. So just like the bug uses this completely ineffective spray to try to defend itself, Josh uses this probably made up picture, or he got it from this league of losers, of him like winning the championship belt whenever I remind him that he's doing terrible in this league. You know, so he's like a stink bug. I'm like, hey Josh, you suck at fantasy football. He's like, boom, cilantro picture. I'm like, oh no, don't spray with cilantro. It's so delicious. What am I gonna do? Like it's completely ineffective. I don't understand it. So Josh is kind of like a stink bug, you know? Sorry, I got distracted there for a minute. I was ranting about Josh, and then I just realized something. I'm ranting about him because I said he doesn't watch my videos, and he sucks at fantasy football. And then the reason I'm ranting about him is because he doesn't watch his videos. But he's not going to watch this. So I realized I'm just basically talking to myself. This is just like high school. I just feel so unappreciated. This is why I drink. This is your fault. I hope you know that. Oh, that was so much easier when I was younger. See you next week.